Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin Wolf from Wolf Customs, and behind me I have the nice nasty pond. Now, why do I have this nasty pond in the background? Well, I'll tell you. I was sent something that I am going to test out for the very first time and see how it works, and I want to use this nasty pond in conjunction with this. This is what I have here. Yeah, it's a bag. So you're asking yourself, okay, so what's up with the bag? Well, I'll tell you, this bag was sent to me. This is called the Millbank Bag, and this was sent to me to test out. And basically, you see how it's kind of the shape of a stocking? That kind of comes into play. But basically, it's what I have inside this is items that I am going to use to cook or disinfect water or purify water, whatever it may be. So in this bag is what I have like my Sawyer Mini, and then the collection bag, as well as the syringe. And something else that I have in this bag is I have, a stainless steel water bottle and cup. Well, that's all well and good. So why the bag? Where does it come into play? Well, these items, like I said, I can use these items to purify and disinfect my water. If I was to use the Sawyer Mini alone in this water, it's going to clog up extremely fast, and I'm going to have to back flush it just a lot more than what I would if I was using it in a clear creek or riverbed or something like that. This bag is designed to collect water from your source, hang it from a tree, and then the water will run out through here. And basically, it's creating a pre-filter for your filter. It's going to get rid of all that nastiness that's floating on top of the water and right under the surface of the water. So that way, now you don't have to back flush your Sawyer as much. Or you can just grab this, throw it right into your stainless steel, boil it, and be done with it. It's completely up to you. And it's one of those things where it can be used in multiple fashions, and that's what I'm liking about the idea of it so far. I have not actually used this yet. This will be the very first time that I use it, and I have high hopes for it because the fact that it basically folds up to next to nothing, you can put your items in it anyway, and most of the time most of us have these particular items in a bag anyway, so to have them in a bag that actually serves a purpose, I kind of like that idea. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to completely saturate this bag for several seconds in the water. And basically is what that's going to do is it's going to allow the water to penetrate it and run through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this bag inside out, and then I'm just going to, like I said, just kind of let it sit and soak up the water and everything else. Now when I turn this bag inside out, the first thing that I'm looking at is the stitching and how this bag is made. And this bag has been sewn by a sewing machine. It's been sewn a couple times, and they're actually nice and straight sew lines. Very close grouping, so it seems like it's going to be very strong. Oop, I did rip it a little bit. So that might be something that is taken into consideration with the individual that's making this bag. I shouldn't be able to rip that. So we might need to use a little bit stronger thread on that. But either way, this bag isn't necessarily designed for me to yank on and everything else, but we do want our gear to be able to hold up long term. So that is something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration. Other than that, it does look like it has been sewn in multiple places and is pretty well constructed. I would say use just a little bit stronger sewing material and you'll be good to go in that department. So let's go ahead and submerge this and let it soak up. In case anybody was wondering, this is cotton material. It is not a synthetic, it is a cotton. We're just going to let that soak. After I let this soak, I'm going to turn it right side out and I'm going to collect my water and we're going to see how it does. Okay, now let's turn it right side out now. And there we go. She's nice and full now. Now you can see the water running at that specific point, just like it should, which is very nice. Now, the individual that made this told me that when you first hang this, let it drip for a few, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, to allow the nastiness on the outside of the bag to run off. I'm not seeing a lot of it come off of there, so I think that it's ready to go as is. Now obviously if I was going to let this sit up here and collect this water straight into this pouch, it is going to take a very, very long time. And now we're actually at a drip. I'm not wanting to use this as a filter per se, so I don't want it at a drip. I kind of want it at a nice even flow. Even if it was to flow a little bit faster than this, it would be nice. Do I need to use this bag in conjunction with my Sawyer? Absolutely not. That's what the Sawyer is developed for anyway. But like I said before, it's going to eliminate how often you have to back flush it. So this isn't necessarily bad at all. It's just going to definitely be time consuming. Now you can see we're at a drip again. Okay, now she's actually flowing pretty decent, and I've also learned that if I just grab the top of the bag and just kind of squeeze it a little bit, we can speed up the process just like that. Like I'd mentioned, this is literally the very first time I've used this bag, so there's still going to be a little bit of a learning curve to it. But my goal is I want to feel at least 8 ounces of this 16-ounce bag and drink that 8 ounces straight away. And then I'm going to back flush this thing on camera, and we're going to see just how gross the water is. Because the first time I did a Sawyer review, I did it straight from this pond, and you could see how nasty the water was when I back flushed it. So I want to see if it's that nasty again. Oh, I went ahead and filled the bag apparently. Okay, so we've got 16 ounces of water in this thing. Now a lot of people have a hard time drinking water from a source like this. I personally don't care. If I need water, I'm going to drink the water straight from a source just like this. And this Sawyer does a hell of a job cleaning all the nastiness out of this water anyway, but you combine that with the bag and it should be very good drinking water. That water tastes fine. That water tastes just like it's coming out of the tap. That water tastes better than the water that I normally drink straight out of the river. The river usually has an irony taste. This water always tastes fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to suck down every bit of this. And then we're going to back flush it. Just like that, 16 ounces of pond water down the throat. Alright, so now let's take this back to the house. Let's get some good clean water and let's back flush it and let's see just how well this bag actually did. Now I don't know if you could see that on camera. I'll play it back in slow-mo here in a minute. But it did not look filthy at all. Alright, so is the mill bag a necessity to have? Of course not. Is it nice to have? You bet. Like I said, most of the time, most of us already put these type of tools or implements in some sort of carrying pouch anyway. So why not put it in something that actually serves more of a purpose other than just simply transportation of these items? Something that's going to help us purify and disinfect our water. I mean, let's face it, we all know that disinfecting and purifying our water is literally the most important thing that we can do long term. So I don't see any problem with this. The only complaint that I have on this bag was the stitching. It's just not quite strong enough. It's strong enough for its intended purpose, okay? Don't misunderstand. It is absolutely well built enough for its intended purpose. But things happen. We're walking through brush, it gets snagged up on a tree limb or something. We need to be able to do that. I didn't put everything I had on this. If I put everything I have on this, I'm going to rip this wide open. So definitely put stronger stitching on this thing. It's not going to affect cost or anything like that. You can get it very cheap. And it's going to make this stand up even longer. A lot of people are going to wonder why there isn't a drawstring on this thing to keep it closed. And I, for one, don't care that there's not a drawstring on there. There is no reason you can't simply just wrap this around, half hitch it, and be done with it. Because when you start incorporating drawstrings and and everything else like that, you're just going to increase material cost, and then material cost is going to increase time to make it, and then that's going to increase the cost of the bag ultimately. So all reality, guys, I don't think that this is a bad product at all. I think it's actually a very nice product exactly how it is, minus the stitching. Put stronger stitching on here and I think it's actually a very nice product. So anyway, I'm going to leave in the description box exactly where you can find these things, cost and everything in the description box. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one.